Good evening and welcome to the Monday, October 13th, 2025 regular meeting of the City of Burbank Planning Commission. Before we begin our meeting, there will be one general period of public comment tonight during oral communications. Persons speaking during the general public comment period may provide the Planning Commission oral communication on any matter concerning city business. Members of the public may comment in person or by telephone during the general public hearing public comment periods. If you would like to participate in the public comment period by making an in-person comment, please present a completed speaker card to planning staff. If you would like to participate in the public comment period by telephone, please call 818-238-3335. We will announce when the phone lines are open. Please join me in a moment of reflection. This moment is intended to begin our meeting with a positive and collective support for our beloved community. The Planning Commission welcomes everyone joining us this evening. We encourage you to take a moment to reflect on our community and the work we will be doing tonight. Although each of us has our own unique reasons for being here, we are united in our passion for our wonderful city. As we pause, let us consider our own individual contributions and what they mean to those around us. Let us find solace in knowing that by working together with a shared spirit of community and partnership, we will always act responsibly for the city of Burbank. Will everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you please conduct the roll?
Chair Wick.
Present.
Vice Chair Safarian is absent. Commissioner Van Gorder.
Present.
Commissioner Bennett.
I'm here.
And Commissioner Mendez is also absent.
Great. Do we have any announcements tonight from city staff?
No announcements.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on, there are two public hearing items on tonight's agenda. Now is the time and place for the public hearing of project number 24-000703, a request for a variance to allow a front yard setback of 8.18 feet for the existing Sharky's restaurant building, a front yard setback between 9.91 and 9.95 feet for the adjacent trash enclosure to the west of the Sharky's restaurant, and a retaining garden wall height of 9.5 and 4 feet, respectively, as a result of the proposed lot line adjustment to align and correct the property line location along the West Empire Avenue to be consistent with the approved public right-of-way improvements of the I-5 Empire Interchange Improvements project for the subject property located at 1791 North Victory Place. Before we begin, do any planning commissioners have any legal, financial, or any conflict of interest relating to this hearing?
No. No.
No. Have any planning commissioners had any communications, including written or oral, with any person about this project?
No.
No.
No. Great. Mr. Ramirez, have the notices as required by law been given?
Yes, they have.
Great. Are there any written communications in this matter?
We have not received any communications on this item.
Great, thank you. Will the representative from the Community Development Department please introduce yourself and summarize the matter before us tonight?
Thank you, Chair Wick. May I have the presentation on the screen? Good evening, Chair Wick, members of the Planning Commission, and the public. My name is David Kim, Senior Planner with the Community Development Department Planning Division. Tonight, staff is presenting to the Planning Commission project number 24-000703, a variance and lot line adjustment application for the existing Burbank Empire Center located at project site 1791 North Victory Place. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. Before going over the summary of the project analysis, staff wanted to provide the Planning Commission a brief overview of why this project request is before you tonight. When the Burbank Empire Center was approved in the early 2000s, the project envisioned that the I-5 Empire Avenue Interchange Improvement Project would also be built out. The Interchange Improvement Project was a series of improvements to the Interstate 5 freeway, including a new interchange at Empire Avenue. As the interchange project entered a construction phase between 2014 and 2019, it was found that the approved design plans of Caltrans for the interchange project that will provide new pedestrian sidewalk connection with Empire Avenue and Victory Place did not align with the existing property line location along Empire Avenue adjacent to the Burbank Empire Center. This remaining improvement has not been constructed yet due to this encroachment. Therefore, Burbank Empire Center, in working with Caltrans and the City of Burbank, have applied for a lot line adjustment and variance application to align and correct the property line along Empire Avenue to match the Caltrans approved design without affecting existing buildings and structures in the Empire Center. Thus, it will also allow for the specific public sidewalk improvement work of the interchange project to be completed, while allowing the Burbank Empire Center to also continue to enjoy their use of the property without affecting significantly existing improvements on the project site. Later in the presentation, staff will go over specific requests of the variance and the lot line adjustment in more detail. The property address 1791 North Victory Place is located in the existing Burbank Empire Center, specifically in the highlighted portion as shown on the aerial map of this slide. The site is located south of West Empire Avenue, west of North Victory Place, and north of West Pacific Avenue. The Burbank Empire Center was constructed in 2001 and is a regional commercial center that provides a variety of retail and restaurant options for the Burbank community, but also adjacent communities. The Empire Center is in also close proximity to other well-known destinations in Burbank, such as the Hollywood Burbank Airport to the northwest and downtown Burbank to the southeast. Surrounding the project site is a mix of residential and commercial uses, including nearby single-family and multifamily residential neighborhoods to the south and east, commercial uses to the north, and commercial and residential uses to the west. The project site is zoned Plan Development 97-3 or Plan PD 97-3. The existing PD zone of the project site was established when the planning entitlements for the proposed Burbank Empire Center was approved in the year 2000. The general plan land use designation for the project site is regional commercial. Surrounding zonings of the properties around the project site include single-family zone properties to the south, industrial zone properties to the north, and multifamily zone properties to the east. Shown on the next couple of slides are photos of the current conditions adjacent to the property address 1791 North Victory Place, where Sharky's Restaurant is located. On the left photo, it is a view towards east, looking towards the intersection of West Empire Avenue and North Victory Place, and the existing Sharky's building is to the far right of the picture. And to the left is the existing wall railing structure that is supporting the grade separation of Empire Avenue. On the right photo is a view of the corner intersection area up close where Empire Avenue and North Victory Place cross. On this slide are two photos that show the existing structures that are affected by the proposed lot line adjustment, and which includes the existing Sharky's Restaurant building and the adjacent trash enclosure area. As mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation, Burbank Empire Center LLC is requesting approval of a variance and a lot line adjustment application. The variance and lot line adjustments are needed to complete the interchange project improvements, specifically the new pedestrian sidewalk and landscape improvements that will provide connection between Empire Avenue and Victory Place and provide connectivity with the adjacent and current Burbank Empire Center. The lot line adjustment was requested in accordance with the Burbank Municipal Code, Title 11 Subdivision. The requested lot line adjustment involves two parcels, the Burbank Empire Center parcel and the city-owned parcel. The lot line adjustment is needed to align and correct the existing property line along Empire Avenue adjacent to the Burbank Empire Center to allow for new public sidewalk, landscaping, and safety improvements. And because of the lot line adjustment requested, the project will also need a request of a variance. This slide shows the project site's land survey, and in the survey, it identifies the two parcels involved in the lot line adjustment request. Parcel 1, which is the city parcel, and Parcel 2, which is the Burbank Empire Center parcel. The red line is shown to indicate the proposed lot line that is requested to be adjusted. And the proposed land survey and the legal descriptions of the lot line adjustment can be found in Exhibit E of the staff report. And this exhibit was reviewed by city departments for accuracy. As part of the lot line adjustment request, it will require certain portions of the project site to be vacated and dedicated. These areas are depicted in Exhibit D, titled Land Survey of the staff report. Staff reviewed the proposed lot line adjustment with the city's real estate transportation planning team and also city attorney's office. In conclusion, staff determined that the proposed lot line adjustment is consistent with the city's Burbank Municipal Code and state law. And as a condition of approval for the lot line adjustment approval, the applicant will be required to go through a separate public hearing with City Council for consideration of the proposed vacation and dedication of land for the project. In addition, the council will also have to consider a proposed new sewer easement, as the lot line adjustment would result in the existing sewer line to traverse between city and private property. The new sewer easement will allow the city to access portions of the Empire Center property when needed for maintenance services. So the proposed sewer easement has also been reviewed by our city's Public Works Department, and therefore the approval of the lot line adjustment is contingent upon these specific conditions approval getting completed. In order for the requested lot line adjustment to be allowed, the applicant also needs a variance request to allow for the reduced building structure front setback for the existing Sharkey's building and also the adjacent trash enclosure. In addition, to allow for a higher front wall height, and therefore a variance request was requested in accordance with city's zoning regulations. The variance is requested to deviate from two required standards of the planned development zone. First, a request to deviate from the required 15-foot setback along Empire Avenue for the Sharkey's building and the adjacent trash enclosure. The resulting new setback will be 8.18 feet for the Sharkey's building and between 9.91 to 9.95 feet for the adjacent trash enclosure. The second request for the variance is to deviate from the maximum front wall height requirement of 3 feet. The project will allow the construction of new retaining walls, including the protected railing at a maximum height of 9.5 feet high. The variance request will also allow necessary lighting fixtures to be on top of certain areas of the new retaining wall that will be designed according to city standard. These two requested variances needed to build out the unfinished public improvements of the interchange project. And the Planning Commission is required to make 4 findings to approve the variance. In this slide, it shows the land survey of the project site where the lot line adjustment affects the existing buildings and structures, setbacks, and also the proposed wall area that will support the public improvements of the interchange project. The bold purple line depicts the new lot line. The red hatch area represents the area where one of the areas where the land is vacated to Empire Center. The green hatch area represents one of the areas where Empire Center will dedicate land to city property. The proposed retaining wall that will support the existing public sidewalk improvements will be built on Empire Center side of the property, along with a 4-foot proposed garden wall adjacent to it. Therefore, as a condition of approval, a wall maintenance agreement for the retaining wall will be needed to be executed to ensure Empire Center maintains the retaining wall in good condition for the life of the project. The four required findings to approve a variance is described in detail in the staff report for the project. In summary, the variance is requested under unique physical conditions and circumstances. The project site is already improved with an existing commercial center for the past 2 decades. The variance is required due to a lot line adjustment request that is needed to complete the remaining public improvement works of the interchange project. The variance request would also support the goals and policies of the city's current general plan by allowing improved pedestrian connection to the project site and allowing Empire Center to enjoy their property with minimal changes to the site due to the lot line adjustment requested. And finally, the variance would ensure the project is consistent with existing planned development zoning by allowing deviations from the planned development's front setback and wall height standards to be able to build out the remaining public improvements of the interchange project. Absent of the variance request, it will create new nonconformities on the project site as it relates to requirements of the front setback and wall height requirements in the front of the planned development zone. The project was noticed in accordance with the Burbank Municipal Code. This includes the required newspaper notice, public noticing of all occupants and owners within 1,000 feet of the project area, and notice displayed on the property itself. In addition, in accordance with state law, the project was determined by staff to qualify for a categorical exemption under the Category Environmental Quality Act. In conclusion, staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission, approving the project by finding the project is consistent with the variance findings and the requirements of the for lot line adjustment, and that the project is consistent with the goals and policies of the Burbank 2035 General Plan and the city's zoning regulations, and that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA review in accordance with state law. This concludes the presentation, and staff is available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will now invite the applicant or their representative to address the Planning Commission. You will have a maximum time of 15 minutes.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Lindsay Tabayan with Allen Matkins. I represent the applicant Burbank Empire Center. I really don't have anything much to add to staff's presentation. I just wanted to be available if there were questions. This has been a long road that I have been working on with your staff since 2016 to get to this hearing tonight. Caltrans came in, they put their interchange, and this just really will align the actual improvements and property lines with what already exists today. The Caltrans left their project site unfinished. They didn't complete some of the connectivity improvements, so my client has agreed in cooperation with the city to settle out with Caltrans for coverage of some of the costs of doing that, to come in and finish those improvements rather than waiting for Caltrans to do it. And that's what all of this affects tonight. So I think this is a win-win for everybody. But I'm available to answer any other questions, as is your staff.
Great. Thank you so much. We may have questions after public comment if there is public comment.
Great.
So
Thanks.
hang tight. We may need you. All right. We will now open the meeting to hear from any persons who wish to speak on this matter. Each person may address the Planning Commission for a maximum time of 3 minutes. For members of the public who wish to comment in person, please present a completed speaker card to planning staff. If you wish to speak, for members of the public that wish to speak by telephone, please call 818-238-3335 to address the Planning Commission. Callers will be placed in a queue until all in-person comments have been received. The phone lines are now open. Please bear with us, as it may take a couple of minutes for the first callers to get through the line. For callers, please remember to lower the volume on your TV and computer and take your phone off speaker when you deliver public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers tonight or callers on the line?
We have no speakers or callers.
Okay, well, give it a minute.
Madam Chair, just
Please.
for the record, we did have 2 members in the audience. I believe they left. They were property owners from across the street that got the public notification.
Okay.
So once they heard the presentation, I guess they just wanted to confirm what I had told them earlier, which
Oh,
was
okay.
that the variance wasn't going to affect, lot line and variance weren't going to affect their property across the street. And as presented by Mr. Kim, we're addressing issues with the Empire site and the adjacent public right-of-way. So it sounds like they left, so just wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
Okay, great. Yeah, I did see them leave. I thought that maybe we were just boring them or Are there any
None.
No, they didn't call them from the parking lot or anything. No. Okay. All right. There being no further public comment on this item, I now declare the public comment period closed. Would the representative of the Community Development Department like to make any further comments?
No further comments, Chair.
All right. Does the applicant or their representative wish to make any further comments? Great. Seeing a no from the audience. Does the commission have any questions of staff or the applicant?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions here.
Okay.
So the
Real quick, who do you have a question for?
I guess for the department.
For staff?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Sorry. The changes here are going to be entirely at the upper level, like at the level of Victory. But there's that area that it's directly next to, which is Empire Avenue, which is like another floor down. I didn't see this in here. Is there going to be any connectivity between the upper level at Victory and that lower level at Empire?
Yes, so Commissioner, in terms of the public improvements that will be done, it will be new public sidewalk that will connect the pedestrian sidewalk along Empire to Victory. So there will be the public improvements include that.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And then the sewer easement, I didn't see who was going to be responsible for paying for the sewer easement, or for the sewer, the changes to the sewer connectivity. Is that the applicant or is that the city?
So the sewer easement will have to go through city council as part of the separate public hearing. So once the sewer easement is okay to approve, that easement will allow the city to go into portions of Empire Center if needed for maintenance services. And so that sewer easement will allow the city to make maintenance improvements if needed.
David, if I may, Chair, can you clarify the existing facilities are already there?
That's correct.
And so the easement would just be to memorialize, one, the location as well as the ability to be able to access that area in the case of future improvements. So they're not putting new, I'm not even finished the answer to my question, but I just want to make sure I properly phrase it. Facilities are there, the easement would just memorialize our ability to access that in case of improvements, if that's correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Great. Any further questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. And I guess just a clarification from staff, the applicant, whoever wants to say it. So I understand that this is very much a land use hearing. That's what we're doing today. But just for any members of the public that are watching, will any businesses be impacted by this? Traffic at the Empire Center, that type of thing? Or do you foresee any issues with that? Keeping in mind, I understand the scope of this hearing.
Chair, yes, the variance and lot line adjustment would not affect existing businesses or the flow of traffic to the site.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Are there any further questions from commissioners, staff? No, you're good. You're good. All right. I now declare the public hearing closed and the Planning Commission will now deliberate. What is the Planning Commission's pleasure?
I think I know enough to move forward here.
I'm sorry?
I said I think I've got enough information to move forward.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion or?
Motion to approve, please.
Okay, so you're making a motion to approve,
The variance and lot line adjustment for project 24-0000703.
great.
I will second.
Great. Thank you so much. I'll just say with these types of of things that come before commission, it's very much based on, can we make the findings for staff? We can absolutely make the findings for staff. And so thank you to staff for the report. Thank you to the applicant for being here, and also to working with staff and Caltrans. I mean, I know that this has been a very long, lengthy process. So just thank you so much for being here and willing to, entertain all of our questions and stuff like that. It's really much appreciated.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Please.
Jill Vanderboort, Chief Assistant City Attorney. Just for clarity, the motion was to adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission as stated in the staff report and as drafted by staff.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, that's my second as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Any other deliberation? No. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Chair Wick,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Gorder,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll give everybody a minute to reshuffle. All right. All right. We'll move on to item number 2. Now is the time and place for the public hearing of project number 25-0004932, a request for a city-initiated proposed zone text amendment to establish and permit school adult vocational trade as a new use in the M1 limited industrial and M2 general industrial zones of the Burbank Municipal Code, BMC, Title 10, Chapter 1, zoning. The proposed use shall be subject to a conditional use permit, CUP. The amendment shall also include a new definition for the use and a minimum parking standard requirement. Before we begin, do any planning commissioners have any legal, financial, or other conflict of interest concerning this hearing?
No.
No.
No. All right. Have any planning commissioners had any written, oral communication with any person regarding this project?
No.
No.
No. Mr. Ramirez, have the notices as required by law been given?
Yes, they have, Chair.
Great. Are there any written communications on this matter?
We have not received any communications on this item.
Thank you. Will the representative of the Community Development Department please summarize the matter before us?
Thank you. May I please have the PowerPoint presentation?
And I'm sorry, I didn't ask you to introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Good evening, Chair Vicks and Planning Commissioners. My name is Wick. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Wick. And Planning Commissioners, I'm Vanessa Quito, Senior Planner with the City of Burbank. I'm here tonight to present the zone text amendment that has been initiated by the city to allow vocational schools in the M1 and M2 industrial zones. Oh, thank you. Over the past few years, the Planning Division has received several inquiries about allowing vocational schools in the city, with an increased interest in the industrial zones where the use is currently prohibited. The inquiries that we have received repeatedly mention the benefits of placing the use near potential future employers, as it can allow for partnerships to set up internships, job placement, and networking. The CDD's Economic Development Division recently issued their 5-year strategic plan, in which they identified higher education as one of the 4 emerging industries in the city to retain and attract to help ensure the city's long-term economic success. The industrial zones were also found to be suitable sites to accommodate higher education level schools, such as vocational schools. Thank you. Currently, the Burbank Municipal Code includes vocational schools under the general school use. Since the use includes grade age schools, the use was prohibited in the industrial zones, as these areas were deemed to be unfit and incompatible with the schools. To address this, staff recommends amendments to the BMC to distinguish vocational schools as a separate land use from current school, public, or private. Provide clearer regulations and enable the city to strategically accommodate these schools in appropriate locations while maintaining a compatibility with surrounding uses. As such, The city proposes the following 3 amendments that I will cover in the next 3 slides. The first is to amend the zoning use list under BMC section 10-1-502 to add school adult vocational trade as a new use and permit the use subject to a CUP in the M1 and M2 zones. The second amendment consists of cleaning up the existing definition of school and removing the reference to vocational/professional schools and add a new definition for school adult vocational and trade that will encompass a variety of adult professional school types that will provide specialized training, education in various trades and technical fields. Lastly, the third, to add a parking standard for the use of 1 parking space per student. This is being rolled over from an existing policy. A parking reduction can be granted under the CUP process, but subject to a parking study. And should the an applicant request in the future to reduce the parking, the applicant can apply for a CUP minor modification process. Staff reviewed the ZTA and found that it meets the required BMC findings for a new land use. It is consistent with several of the land use goals and policies in the Burbank General Plan that pertain to bringing in and supporting land uses in these industrial zones and attracting new uses. It will fulfill one of the city council's economic development goals to diversify the economy and retain businesses in the city. Lastly, it will implement one of the goals of the Economic Development Strategic Plan to accommodate for more higher education uses in the city. The proposed ZTA was reviewed for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act. It is staff's assessment that it is exempt from CEQA pursuant to the common sense exemption. Additionally, it is not considered a project pursuant to CEQA. This proposed amendment is an administrative activity of the city that does not consist of any approvals of the use on a particular site. It has no potential for resulting in either direct or indirect physical changes into the environment. Further, future CUP requests for the use would have to go through an individual evaluation for compliance with the zoning code and CEQA. Next slide, please. With that, it is recommended that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution to recommend approval of the ZTA and adoption of the ordinance to the City Council with the following revised ordinance title that has been distributed to the Planning Commission under Attachment A of Exhibit 1 to read, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Burbank amending Title 10, Chapter 1 zoning of the Burbank Municipal Code to establish and permit school adult vocational trade as a new use in the M1 Limited Industrial and the M2 General Industrial Zones and related regulations, and find that the ZTA is exempt from CEQA. This concludes my presentation. I'm available to answer any questions.
Great, thank you so much. All right, we will now open the meeting to hear from any persons who wish to speak on the matter. Each person may address the Planning Commission for a maximum time of 3 minutes. For members of the public who wish to comment in person, please present a completed speaker card to planning staff if you wish to speak. For members of the public that wish to comment by telephone, please call 818-238-3335 to address the Planning Commission. Callers will be placed in a queue until all in-person comments have been received. The phone lines are now open. Please bear with us as it may take a couple of minutes for the first callers to get through the line. For callers, please remember to lower the volume on your TV or computer and take your phone off speaker when you deliver your public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers here tonight or callers on the line?
We have no speakers or callers.
Great, we'll give it a minute.
Mhm.
No? All right. There being no further public comment on this item, I now...
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh. I believe we are experiencing some technical difficulties.
I think we have one caller.
Okay. We will wait for that caller. I feel like we need some hold music.
Chair, just give us a second. They're checking with the team behind the scenes on the audio.
No problem. Thank you to the team behind the scenes for. There we go. This is real life government at work here.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
No, it's okay.
We're gonna have him. We're gonna give him a minute to call back. See
Sure,
if
absolutely.
he will.
Yeah, no, if somebody has taken the time to call, we definitely want to hear it. So
Yeah.
we'll be here all night. Well, we have to approve to go past 10:45, so we'll
I thought it was 2 hours with the approved to go past.
we'll go with that.
No, we lost our speaker, so, our caller.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
sorry.
Well, if the caller calls back and we can get through,
I will let you guys
I
know.
will very open to reopening public hearings. So
Chair, we attempted to recontact the caller. They dropped off when we tried to transfer them. We called them back.
Okay.
And we'll keep trying and see if they can get
great,
call.
yeah, no problem. I'm completely agreeable if we're able to reach them to reopening the public comment period. But for now, seeing there being no in-person comment and nobody on the phones, I will now declare the public comment period closed. Would the representative of the Community Development Department like to make any further comments?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, does the commission have any questions of staff?
Yes, I have a few thoughts. So
Thoughts or
looking,
questions?
well, questions, I
Okay.
guess. Thoughts and induce questions, on the Amendment 1, I see that the other school uses are all an administrative use permit, and this particular carve-out for the adult schools in the M zones is specific, requires specially a conditional use permit. Why did the staff choose to make that distinction?
So one of the reasons we proposed processing a vocational school under a CUP is part of our research that we looked at. We looked at a few vocational schools that are currently operating in the city. We became aware that there are some impacts that they've had on the adjacent properties. And through this process, it would allow us to look at it carefully just to ensure that the site can accommodate the use in terms of parking, layout, and that the use is compatible with the surrounding uses.
But now these are industrial sites we're talking about, right? So presumably it would have less risk of actually impacting other sites negatively. There aren't residential areas, near these sites and things like that, right?
There could still be some impacts in terms of like the site, the layout, and parking. There's some areas that have limited parking on site. There's already a use of the parking within the area, so bringing in a new use might be impactful to the current conditions on the sites.
Yeah. That's all the questions I had right now. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, I'm
All
good.
right. I have a question for staff. And I apologize if this was in the report. Would a vocational school be considered a sensitive area? In terms of, because I believe schools, churches are considered sensitive areas in terms of certain types of businesses like firearm stores and everything. Would this be considered a sensitive area? I'm getting the city attorney. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's a good legal question. I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I don't believe so. I believe sensitive uses, at least in one context that I'm thinking of, is K-12 schools or preschools, but I cannot answer that conclusively for you at this time.
Okay. Do you know by chance, and I apologize, this is something I just thought of, so normally I would have emailed staff ahead of time, so I sincerely apologize. This wasn't meant to be like a gotcha type thing, I promise. Are colleges considered a sensitive area? Would that be under the same purview as K-12 schools? Do we know?
Mr. Ramirez is giving me a bone here. He says that when we did the firearms regulations, we did not consider Woodbury as a sensitive use, which is in that general vicinity.
Got it.
Or adjacent to.
That is extremely helpful. Thank you. That was the main question I had. Are there any further questions from the commission? Okay. I'm not sure if.
Is that for us?
Well, I'm not sure.
He has
one more
there's another
example
comment, please.
that suggests that no, they are not qualified sensitive uses. West Coast Customs has a trade school inside their building, and that was also not considered as a sensitive use.
Got it. And just to kind of clarify and summarize what we're doing tonight. So essentially, this is not saying that vocational schools can only go in M1. It's just giving an opportunity for vocational schools to go in an M1 zone where they wouldn't normally be allowed. Is that what I'm understanding?
I think we should. It's never a yes and no.
Right,
answer.
of course.
So I'll try to clarify a little bit, but then I'm going to rely on our subject matter experts here, my colleagues that's worked on this. So we do have other vocational schools in the city, and in the past we've used an interpretation because of how it's defined as part of the other schools to allow them. So we have some schools in downtown. We have New York Film Academy, and there's, I believe, one or two others in some commercial zones. So, but in the M1, that definition, because it includes all the K through 12 schools inclusive in that definition, was prohibited. So, as Vanessa has noted, we've received a lot of interest from introducing new vocational schools, especially in the M1. And other cities allow for these kind of technical trade build-up type of uses in M1. It makes sense that they're in there. We've had nursing schools and others that have also been interested. There are a lot of buildings that lend themselves to those uses, including the fact that we actually allow professional offices in the industrial zone. So some of those can adaptively be reused into these type of spaces. We've received enough interest that we've, in working with the director, my boss, thought it was an opportune moment to bring this forward as a zone text amendment to address that issue while still working through the bigger picture discussion of what other areas we would allow this potentially conditionally permitted use or even an administrative use in those instances where it makes sense, and all the other factors, the environmental factors like other uses around it, the availability of parking on site can be analyzed. And those vehicles are the specific plans that are going to be coming forward, in particular in Golden State and in downtown, which when you looked at the exhibits, a lot of the M1 is in that corridor area. So we're going to be looking at those. But you are correct that with the new definition and with the new land use table, we be explicitly calling out vocational schools as a new use to be allowed in the M1 and M2. And in the other areas, we would be reevaluating that. If this is approved, we would have to reevaluate how those uses would be allowed in those zones. And the intent is to look at the specific plans as being the vehicle under which we would do it. Originally, the definition that you have in front of you was actually excerpt from our specific plans. But we thought we're getting so much demand now, we don't want to wait until July of next year, when it would be in front of you all and council at that time, to wait, because we're getting so much demand and there's an interest to try to bolster trade schools in support of other uses that we have. Like an example, nurse schools to support our medical uses, other technical trade schools to support light industrial uses that are occurring. So this is an opportunity where instead of waiting, we're proposing something to you all to be able for the city to kind of act now, facilitate the use now, and still kind of work through the larger issues, which is, I think, what Commissioner Bennett was getting at as to why administrative uses in some locations versus conditional use permits is because in the past, we've had some issues where we introduce a use, it's very popular. There's a lot of people that come and use that trade school as an example, but we are introducing it in an industrial zone where street parking is at a limited commodity, and sometimes some of those uses don't have enough parking on site. So now you have uses fighting for the same finite resource, street parking. And so we want to be able to analyze it because in some instances, when we go through the CUP process, we'll find that that site that they're considering in the M1 is perfect. It has all the on-site parking required. In another example, we may have someone that says, well, I have a trade school use. It is high demand use, but we realize that single occupancy vehicles is probably where a lot of these trades are going to draw from further away to bring them, and they're all going to park on the street. Now you have them competing with long-standing businesses that also use parking as a lifeblood for their employees and visitors and vehicle delivery and pickup and drop off for the larger vehicles that go into the industrial zone. So we just want to be able to analyze that. But the idea is that when you go through the conditional use permit process, if you meet the findings, we would be making a recommendation for approval of that. It just happens to be done in a way where we vet it with properties within 1,000 feet, so we can be assured we're not impacting anybody, and that we can memorialize the findings under which they've been approved, which are a little more rigorous in analyzing the impact. And in the instances of some examples like the New York Film Academy, in the past we used to have situations where the overflow of demand was causing impacts to surrounding neighborhoods. We're getting a lot of complaints, but unfortunately we approved it through a more streamlined process, and that was one of the effects. So the approach that the staff took of a conditional use permit is just to make sure we have those other protections for the surrounding neighborhoods if the demand gets too intense. And I don't know if you all want to add to that. Okay. All right, so they taught me well enough to encapsulate what we were doing. So.
Thank you so much for that. Are there any further questions from the Planning Commission?
No questions.
No, good.
No questions? Great. All right. I will now declare the public hearing closed, and the Planning Commission will now deliberate. What is the Planning Commission's pleasure?
Well, I appreciate the discourse on the CUP versus the AUP. I will admit that I am not personally persuaded by that, in that I think that the CUP generally gives far too much weight to the planning staff and their personal opinions of what should or shouldn't go on a site. And I think if every other type of school on this list gets an AUP, I don't know why we should single out this school for extra scrutiny. And so I would like for us to amend the amendment to treat these schools like we treat every other type of school in the city.
Okay. Does anyone have any, do you have any thoughts on that, Commissioner Van Gorder?
I mean, we're just dealing with the light industrial zones, and these are the only kind of educational facilities that are going to be created in these industrial zones. And there's other active uses in there that have a pre-existing need for, on and off street parking there. With the conditional use permit process, we were talking a little bit about providing spaces as an off-street parking thing. Could, by that same token, if there's like really the gold rush style situation and it's very competitive, how difficult or onerous would it be to
So
create,
keep in mind, I just want to stop you that this is deliberation, not questions for
deliberation?
staff.
Okay. Withdrawn.
Okay. Did you want to finish? Did you?
Yeah, I mean,
did you want to? I don't want to say like, do you want to finish your thought? But you clearly have a thought process on this, and I want to be respectful of putting that out into the open for the public.
Yeah, thank you for being kind to the new guy. I appreciate it. I just feel like a conventional public or private school, that's a use that we already kind of understand, and there doesn't seem to be a boom in like a ton of demand for a new format of public or private school in these other zones. But we've heard that there's a significant amount of interest and demand in these zones to create a new use. And so I wouldn't like, I'm sensitive to the gold rush competitive element of that land use. So I think that I agree with the concern in terms of giving a lot of weight to planning staff. But I feel like I'm swayed by the earliness of figuring out early on whether or not this is going to have the kind of impacts in these individual areas. And I imagine we could probably put in a condition, or maybe that's what we're talking about, like, could we, after a certain period of time, change that conditional use permit to, like, after the first year of it being a conditional use permit, to change that over to an administrative use permit?
Okay.
Just so that we could manage the earliest use, or the earliest iterations of this particular use before addressing your concerns and making things a little bit more smooth.
I see where you're going with that. Unless I don't want to overstep.
Please.
Okay. I see where you're going with that. However, I think what we need to remind ourselves, and this is my perspective, of course, is that we have conditional use permits for a reason. And the reason is because we never want to adversely affect a neighborhood inadvertently. I mean, we've had time, to what staff has said, I'm not necessarily saying with a school, but we've had projects time and time again that have been, administrative use permits, and then it very much adversely affects the neighborhood. I'm even going off of something like, not to throw them under the bus time and time again, but like a Raising Cane's type situation.
Sure,
So,
but I disagree, I think, with the conventional wisdom on Raising Cane's, not to relitigate that issue.
Right. No. We're not talking about that, but I'm just throwing it out as an example. Whereas, and also too, I want to say that I would like to get away from idea of saying it's just industrial, because each area of our city is important, and there are neighborhoods that back up very closely to these uses. And so while I appreciate what you're saying about it maybe giving staff too much leeway, is we have very, very smart staff, and they do this time and time again all day. And so I would very much hate for a project to come in and harm a neighborhood. And I think that very seldom do we get conditional use permits through here that are not, that staff doesn't recommend approval. And they do a very good job. And part of that is that a lot of times before it even comes before our commission, staff has worked with an applicant in order to mitigate a lot of the surrounding issues. And I think by saying, oh, AUP it, or even after a year, we're going to AUP it, I think that opens up, it opens up that we may not be protecting our neighborhoods the way that we should be protecting them on this commission. That's my thought. And so I support this as written.
Mike, do you have any further thoughts on that, or do you agree with Samantha?
Yeah, I agree with the chair. Thank you.
Okay.
Then the only other thing that I wanted to ask about was Amendment 3 and the ratio of 1 space per student.
Are you asking us, or are you deliberating with us?
I'm deliberating with you.
Okay, got it.
Yes. We have settled the Amendment 1 issue, and I would like to have a further discussion.
Sure.
Great.
Go for it. I just
Great.
wanted to make sure we weren't communicating with staff back and forth on deliberations.
No. So I think that the 1 space per student is too high, basically. I mean, especially if in a world where we are introducing hopefully more transit to Burbank, where people can carpool, I think that requiring the school to make a single parking space for every single student is high. And I think that we should lower this, and with the assumption that not every single student is absolutely going to drive in every single day. I have some thoughts about the threshold, but I'm happy to consider other people's ideas as well.
Well, I know the state is by and large moving towards parking maximums as opposed to parking minimums. We've certainly planned for, as a country, we've planned for parking more so than we've planned for people.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
There's nothing in here to describe what's necessary for parking for staff either. I'm curious what that will end up looking like. Because
Well, there's nothing that mandates the parking for staff legally. Obviously, the school is more than welcome to set aside their own staff as they see fit. So.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right, thank you.
Right. So to Commissioner Van Gorder's credit, there are state mandates coming, in terms of parking. But I also believe that the point of the CUP, and to what staff even said, is that an individual CUP may come where they're lessening the parking requirements. I would say because also too, I don't think we're in a position to say what would be an appropriate parking max, because we're not transportation planners. We haven't done transportation studies or anything else. But I would say, because when a conditional use permit comes before this commission, typically a traffic study has been done. And so I think a 1-to-1 ratio, which is pretty typical of what we see, is sufficient. And then that can be adjusted per the CUP. I think by just kind of arbitrarily making up a number here on the dais, it may get a little in the weeds in terms of what would work, because I'm pretty sure 1-to-1 is what is typical throughout the city.
I imagine with the specific schools that are brought in front of us, we can ask exactly those kind of pointed questions. I'm good.
Okay.
Very well.
Anything else?
Nothing else.
Okay. And I just want to say too, I very much, having sat with you on this commission for about a year now, I would
Yes, ma'am.
say. I would say I do appreciate you wanting to streamline. I mean, I get that I'm not trying to put words into your mouth. I do understand that you're want to streamline things. I do think that's important. But I also think we need to protect our neighborhoods. And I would rather be cautious and protect our neighborhoods than inadvertently not protect our neighborhoods. So that's where I always come down. But I very much appreciate you wanting to make things easier because the world is difficult enough.
Quite.
All right. Do we have any further deliberation?
No, ma'am.
All right. Would anybody like to make a motion?
Sure. I will make a motion to adopt the recommendation and the ordinance for the zone text amendment. Sorry for the reference. For the zone text amendment to establish and permit school adult vocational trade as a new use.
Got it. And that's project number 25004932.
Thank you for quoting that, yes.
Great.
And that's as amended by, they amended the
Oh.
title to the ordinance.
Correct.
The
So just to clarify,
So we have this thing, right?
right, there
Yes.
was an amendment to the ordinance that was simply a correcting a typographical error. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Sure.
got
So
it.
that is the proposal that I am referencing in my motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to second the motion.
Great. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Chair Wick,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Gorder,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bennett.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Whew. All right, moving on. Now is the time for reports from city staff. Are there any reports to the commission?
Sorry, no reports.
Okay.
Sorry.
No
resignation.
problem. No problem. All right, moving on to approval of the minutes. Now is the time for the approval of minutes from the September 22nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. Are there questions, comments, and/or a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes?
I will second.
Great. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll?
Chair Wick,
Yes.
Commissioner Van Gorder,
Yeah.
and Commissioner Bennett.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to oral communications. Now is the time for oral communications from the public. Any person speaking during the period may address the commission on any matter concerning city business. Each person may address the Planning Commission for a maximum time of 3 minutes. For members of the public who wish to comment in person, please present a completed speaker card to the Planning Division. For members of the public that wish to comment by telephone, please call 818-238-3335 to address the Planning Commission. Callers will be placed in a queue until all in-person comments have been received. The phone lines are now open. Please bear with us as it may take a couple minutes for the first callers to get through the line. For callers, please remember to lower the volume on your TV or computer and take your phone off speakerphone when delivering public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers here tonight or callers on the line for public comment?
We have no speakers or callers.
All right, we're going to give this a minute. Yeah. Just in case.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting to see if someone calls,
Yes.
the excitement builds. Just want you to be aware, and thank you for the deliberation that you've had on both items. The minutes and any other discussion regarding parking standards and consideration of different options for AUP, CUP, that's part of the administrative record. So when we report the recommendation to council, we'll make sure to have that information in there in case like-minded individuals think in a similar fashion with the electeds. When it goes to council, that's something that they can look at as well. So just so you're aware of it.
Great.
So it's a good discussion, and that information will be conveyed when we report out.
I know, it's even when we disagree, I love it when we have discussions up here on the dais because I feel like it's important, most definitely. We don't have any
No speakers or callers.
No speakers or callers. Okay. Well, I now declare the public comment period closed. Now is the time for introduction of additional agenda items. Planning Commission members may introduce new items for discussion, but no action may take place except to place the item on a future agenda. Do members of the commission have any items to introduce?
No.
No? No? Okay. Now is the time for city planner comments. Are there any comments from the city planner?
Yes, Chair. Just a follow-up from the last meeting. Commissioner Van Gorder had asked for some information, so we'll be getting that out to you if you haven't received it on the fees. You had a specific question for SB 9 fees, I believe it was. Yeah.
Lot split fees.
Yes, lot split fees. And the other thing too, as you're all well aware, the governor signed SB 79. So internally, we're looking at that bill and how it affects the city. We're in discussions with our colleagues too in other cities. They're also evaluating it locally in the region. So we're evaluating that. Just wanted you to make you aware of it. We'll see how it affects the city, and no doubt probably at some point report out to the council, and we'll keep you abreast of any new information that comes out of that. The other thing too, just want to make you aware that as we get to the end of this year and the beginning of next year, your docket will become more robust with maybe not a lot of items, but items that require a lot of review, and that includes the media district specific plan update that will be coming to you before the end of the year, as well as the downtown specific plan and the Golden State specific plan. Those are, we are on a timetable to have those two before the council in July of 2026. So before that, you will be given presentations, overviews of progress on that work, and we will have study sessions with you to go over different sections of the plan, as well as to give you updates on our work on the environmental document, which each one of those has its own environmental impact report. So that will be coming to you, and we're going to try to get that information out sooner so that by the time you actually have a hearing, you'll have already had an opportunity to digest the different components of the specific plan, so that when we have the hearing, you're not hearing it completely new that day. You'll have already had an opportunity to kind of digest that information and kind of focus your discussion at those meetings. And we'll also have some follow-up updates. We're working on updates for the accessory dwelling unit regulations to be in alignment with state law. So those will be coming to you as well. And with that, we also have work that we're doing for the housing element update. We have programs in there, 27 programs to that effect. And the long-range planning teams are working on doing some administrative work, some of which requires your feedback and input. So just want to let you know, not to say that you shouldn't plan for your vacations, but when you do have scheduled meetings, we will have more items to discuss. And I anticipate we'll have a full group of commissioners here when those items go forward.
Sorry,
No problem.
Given that we have that docket, are we going to have more forward visibility into the schedule? Like, are we going to be able to look forward 1, 2, 3 meetings in the future?
Yes, we can, as things come more into focus.
Yes.
We will send out a notification. We'll let you know as we know the items that are coming on. If we have like 2 or 3 meetings worth of items, we'll try to get that information out to you individually as commissioners.
Sure.
Also, too, not that you have to do this, but if you read your Burbank Leader, the notices are printed very far ahead of time, and so that's how I often hear of what's going on
Fair
here.
enough.
All right, Commissioner Van Gorder, is there anything you wanted to add, say?
Yes, I just wanted to say happy anniversary to my beautiful wife. It's 12 years today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. We will now adjourn to the Planning Commission meeting on Monday, October 27th at 6 p.m. This meeting will be held in person at the City Council chambers at 275 East Olive Avenue. The public is invited to attend the meeting in person or to view the meeting online or on television. The public will be able to provide public comment in the following 3 ways. In person at the appropriate time during the meeting, by leaving an e-comment on the city webpage, www.burbankca.gov/e-comments, or by calling in directly to the Planning Commission at 818-238-3335. Thank you for your participation and have a good night.